100 Thieves jungle.
All right, now time to see the changes in the bans. TL have picked up the Akali ban, which 100 Thieves haven't shown that they really want to play, where they were banning it as well.
Kindred will be down. Nobody wants to mess with smite fights anymore throughout this game.
Get it out of it.
Both know they can utilize it to great effect. 16 seconds here as we have second ban for TL and Gangplank. We figured that would go off, and chat was thinking that would be a first pick, so now you might get that tank matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we've seen that, you know, Gnar was obviously pretty problematic for Impact, despite the fact that Impact won the game. I think Someday thrashed him pretty hard up in the top lane, you know, was 70, 80 CS ahead for most of the game, took the turret, etc. That's not a disadvantage that you want to accept going in, so they're not willing to blind pick it themselves first. You also don't want to give it over to Someday because Impact hasn't shown that he can punish it, so you're going to have to ban that one away.
Yeah, and here, Shen, Varus, also the Olaf is still on the table. Okay, Olaf banned away now.
You don't say.
Yeah, I looked down because it was I was like, there was that other one that they were first banning. 100 Thieves were first banning Olaf every single game.
Yeah, Braum's still up here as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see a first pick Braum for TL if that actually is left up.
Yeah.
Desire Rakan is not available as well.
Yeah. I feel like Shen and Braum very high value right now. Varus also has seen a lot of bans. Not in this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you grab the Varus, the other team will probably grab the Braum, so it just depends on which you think is kind of the more important part. If you're happy to play Varus Alistar or Varus Shen or whatever, then grabbing the Varus makes more sense here, but I do expect Aphromoo to grab up the Braum in response. Let's see if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, because we talked about it, there's two pretty much like primo supports, the Shen and the Braum both. You kind of want your pick of the litter of those two. The Braum would be quite good here for Aphromoo. And then the Shen, though, I feel like it helps TL a lot if they get that, because then they can also protect Impact in the top lane from Someday if it ends up being a carrier counter matchup, because they are on red side for 100 Thieves.
The question just becomes, how much of your lane are you willing to sacrifice? Because I do think that Shen in the 2v2 is a fairly weak laner. And one of the biggest strengths for TL is double lift on Olay in their lane in the 2v2. So, you know, maybe you're not willing to kind of make that sacrifice to be able to protect Impact a little bit more. Maybe you want to focus a little bit more on your own lane.
Well, with what's banned here, the 1 in Braum and the 2 in Rakan for Olay, looks like Tom Kench might be locked in with that.
Ooh, Braum Lucian.
We haven't seen it in quite some time.
Yeah.
Concussive blows, but an MF locked in here.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about this as a counter to the Varus, because Varus was pretty much getting banned a whole bunch. Misfortune comes in. It's usually Dark Harvest. You can deal a lot of damage later in the game. She keeps scaling up as time goes on. It's not so much the Comet and the Emax, but that is something that can also be played here. Yeah. But I love this because low mobility, and it forces you to usually take a Tom Kench and defend and be on the back foot as the Varus.
Will be very interesting because, you know, if you do want to go for more of a lane dominant style, you definitely should go for the Comet, the Scorch, you know, these sorts of style of plays can really make it difficult for Varus. You can poke him out early, but Varus is also a champion that can rush lifesteal, so I have actually seen it fail as well, even with the Comet. If Varus starts Thorn Shield, gets to an early vamp, all of a sudden your poke cannot mean that much. So that is part of the reason that a lot of people often opt into Dark Harvest. As you're saying, better scaling, more burst potential, especially in the later stages.
Yeah, and pairing it with a Braum means she can just stand there and dish out all this damage that she wants to. Pretty much ulti and not have to worry about getting CC'd with the Sejuani ultimate or the Chain of Corruption. So the Braum in tandem with the Misfortune is quite good as well.
Possible Trundle here. They keep the match for the jungle as it's left up 4 seconds, and there could switch to mid lane lock in, and it's going to be Cassiopeia for Ryu. So it could be a pinch on 100 Thieves jungle as they look at this.
This is definitely a really strong matchup for Ryu. This was always kind of considered one of the so-called counters or answers or whatever you want to call it against the Ryze. Certainly can zone out that Ryze, and it can be very difficult for him to actually fight up 1v1 against Cassio because you are a relatively short-range mage, and Cassio really has some powerful dueling.
Yep, and right here, I like the Tom Kench ban. We talked about it where, hey, the Braum's Misfortune makes you play on the back foot. You really want that TK alongside the Varus. Not going to have the luxury of that protection. I wonder if it's another Alistar ban to stop them from interrupting the Misfortune later, and that may force Olay onto Shen or something of the like. And like you called out, the Trundle, that's going to get banned away. And I believe this is Pobelter's first Ryze game of the entire split.
It's interesting. I mean, we may just see Poppy again, honestly, if that doesn't get banned out. Gragas is still available if you want that as an answer. It's going to really just depend on the last ban here from TL, what they are kind of prioritizing, taking out of Anda's hands. And as you said, the arena is going to be the Alistar, so Shen would still be available as one of those tank supports that are considered quite strong. If you want to focus more on the lane, though, they could grab a range support up for themselves.
Yeah. I don't know if you even ban another jungler here as TL. Gragas,
Take something away from Someday.
Like, it just feels like the junglers that are left, the tank junglers, are pretty like
Interchangeable.
6, 1/2 dozen. It's like, it's going to be the same. Yeah, the Gnar, I think, is better here.
Yeah, see, now for the picks, quite a long phase 2. Teams took their time to get those picks in to the last second. And what will be the lock-in here for 100 Thieves side, giving a possible counter up to Someday here in the end?
Yeah, either it's a counter or you go, we really want Cho'Gath or we really want Ornn, right? But I don't think they care about the Ornn because there's Braum. So if they were going to pick anything, it would be Cho'Gath here if they were going top.
And I think that...
Whoa! Stunner locked in for Anda in the jungle, so they do initially give that counter pick to Someday, but what a lock-in here for 100 Thieves all around.
I think it makes a lot of sense to give that counter pick to Someday. We've seen how well he's doing in the 1v1. Really should give him a chance to actually exploit that matchup, both sides. He's played as the GP and against the GP. He was certainly getting the better of Impact, and why not give him another shot at that Thresh as the lock-in here.
Whoa.
Into Braum, though, so that can be sometimes tough if you can actually weave it through and get onto the MF. Bring your Sejuani in with the Lantern. There is certainly potential to lock down and take down that misfortune.
Yeah, but we talked about how Tahm Kench is to protect the Varus. The Lantern is going to do the same thing, give him mobility, scoot him out of the way. And I love this from Ole. It's kind of a classic for him. The Morgana, the Thresh are the two that come to mind. And now I really want to see how he performs on this. The bottom lane not backing off, not playing the Shen, and instead saying, hey, they want that lane presence, like you said, Azale.
I'm interested to see how much of riding a bike this is for Ole. No plays on that Thresh throughout this season here. The Morgana and the Alistar and the Kench, the last 1 to 3 plays alike. The Ornn is locked in, and now you hear the crowd. We're wondering what will be against Impact, and it's going to be Someday's Afro. Someday's Afro. Sorry, Afro picked it. Someday's Mundo.
He picks another Afro.
Oh, my word.
That's broken.
I wouldn't want to play against that at all.
Yeah.
50 seconds on the clock as teams have the rest of the time to chat with their coaches on stage, figure out how this will play out.
So I actually really love Mundo picked into this. Anytime I see top half of the map is all magic damage, I'm thinking this is a free Mundo game. You look at it, it's Ornn who is doing, a fair bit of magic damage, not really a big physical damage threat. You have Sejuani magic damage, Ryze magic damage. Those are the people that are going to attack you. So it's so easy to rush Spirit Visage, rush Merc Shreds, and not really ever be in threat of dying, and you're going to have pressure from there.
Yeah, I mean, even the Varus is going to do a large majority of magic damage, percent HP later in the game. And like you said, he's probably going to go for some life steal early. Maybe Blade of the Ruined King is on the board here to survive the matchup and to deal damage to this tanky Mundo.
Coaches once again shake hands. Who will break the series tie first? Now at 1-1. 100 Thieves taking game 1 as Team Liquid came out swinging in game 2, mid-game on. And that's where I feel like Team Liquid has said they have the power, the veterans, knowing how far a series can go and keeping composure. Definitely in the hands of Team Liquid.
It's so interesting, hearing Doublelift talk about the underdog advantage, how he thought that was a real thing. And if you have a bye, he said, you have to practice even harder. You need to work even harder, or you can get upset. And 100 Thieves took that first game. We're all tied up going into game number 3, and TL are going to have to continue stepping it up.
And you talk about upsets. The semifinals on the other side, TSM versus C9. This has been the semifinals of redemption for teams that had lost finals in the past. Cloud9 finally able to get the better of TSM after so many losses in best of 5s in a row. Losing 5 in a row to them. Here, if 100 Thieves are able to win this, go to Worlds and go to the finals, it's that redemption semifinals here for those two teams.
You got to expect the team that came into their first split to head to the finals is going to try to do it again with a lot of power.
And something needs to be said as well about, as an organization, if you come into the franchise era, you are a new brand that people are not familiar with. They picked up a lot of known names with Afromu, Medios when they started, with Someday. They came here to win. They built it off of Prawley's back and kind of picking him up first. And Nadeshot was very serious about having an impact in his first year. And if you make the finals in both splits in your debut year, you are saying to your fans, this is a promise. You cheer for us, you won't be disappointed.
Well, they picked up a lot of fans in that first split, and they've picked the pocket of many teams here. One of those pockets that evaded them was going to be Team Liquid, so they get another chance in this semifinal. We start things off, and it does look like Recaro will be using that Comet E in the bot lane.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to point that out. So this is the very lane-focused style. It's more about bullying in the 2v2. You're going to see Scorch, you're going to see Comet, you're going to see looking for that early push and early pressure onto Doublelift, but Doublelift, as expected, the response to this, Door and Shield, likely going to rush a Vamp Scepter. And if you do not have a solid advantage by that time, I generally feel like you can just start to live through it.
Yeah, the Misfortune has to really thrive off of that. That's why I was expecting Dark Harvest personally, because the Comet, there's so many ways to play around it, and the Emax, and it just feels like the damage will stick harder, and even if you don't win the lane, you still scale harder with the Dark Harvest.
One of the things I really do like about this approach, though, is you shouldn't be expecting Rikara to be beating Doublelift, right? So if you can go for this more lane-focused pick and equalize, or even hold relatively even, hey, that's success. Somebody has the last pick on the top side. Your solo laners, Ryu has a counter pick in the mid lane. Depend on the solo laners to carry the game. You just hold even. You don't let Doublelift take over, and you put that faith in your teammates that they can be the difference maker.
But it's already just like you pick them a winning matchup, and you expect them to lose it, but go even in that sense, because you don't have that advantage that you were kind of drafted for. And to me, that just says like Doublelift is in a very comfortable spot. He's just a kind of a pillar of power here that they can lean on, and just an advantage they will always get. And it means draft resources are used towards him.
It's definitely the case, and let's be honest, he is in a comfortable position. Doublelift talked about it. He wants to be in that position going into playoffs where every team is afraid of him. They know they can't kill him. They know their bottom lane is going to lose. They know he is coming for that championship title, and Doublelift has done it on multiple squads, one with so many different orgs now.
And in terms of the most decorated player in the North American LCS, it's 5 championships for Bjergsen. Doublelift, if he wins this split, he ties him. Doublelift will have 5 NALCS trophies and will tie Bjergsen for that number.
And on 3 different teams. One of the very interesting things is that, each of these rosters, it's been often Doublelift, who was kind of that big star, who they played around. He has found success with so many different players. He has been a constant throughout, and really kind of one of the mainstays of the NALCS, alongside Aphromoo, who, they started out together, and this guy has also been taking teams to the finals, has been so successful. His shot calling is legendary.
Aphromoo was the guy who brought Doublelift to his first trophy. Stop making Doublelift's trophy case a meme, right? The guy who helped him do that. And I feel like there's something to be said about that, because Doublelift was considered so good for so long, but then he never had results to back it up. And that was kind of the thing, is he was always known for being great, but never winning. And now he's in a position where he will tie for the most championships, the most titles, the most wins, if he wins this split.
It's so interesting because it really is that struggle to kind of get over the line. And there's so much stock put into that championship win, and we have lots of great players who have been able to get to that point where you have that respect, but not necessarily that championship title. Jensen is another one now in this current age.
Look where Golden Glue is coming from as well.
And I feel like for Doublelift, it's a lot of people will start off, they immediately accelerate, boom, they're in the finals, they'll win it, right? Doublelift was so far away for so long that instead of hating how much he loses, he's like in love with the feeling of winning. That trophy eluded him for so long that when he got it, he kind of stands by Madison Square Garden, still his favorite day in his life, the happiest that he's been because of that moment. He went on to win other championships and said this is still the happiest day, is that one day in Madison Square Garden where he got his first one.
Still quiet in the beginning of the Rift as we reminisce of both Team Liquid and 100 Thieves, where these players have come from and how much of a journey they have actually had. It's quite amazing to see here. Still, as high caliber players, like we were saying, Aphromoo, Doublelift, being able to bring multiple teams to this position, prove their worth. Ryu and Pobelter back and forth in the mid lane as the machine gun mages in Cassiopeia and Rise. Can't wait to see what these two have for each other as we get into the mid-game and end-game fights.
And it'll be interesting to see how this lane is going to play out as we go forward. Pobelter is low on mana, so if you can get a preferential back, they're actually using this more just the pressure they have in mid and bot to go for the early dragon, which would be really nice. And Skarner does excel at soloing dragons with the Spire.
Yep, has the Spire, has his 2 jungle items, and the Predator boots, but if it's a check here from McSmithy, it would deter if it... There they go.
Smite will keep him healthy at just the right moment. Hopefully. Yeah, they see Xmithy coming around the corner. Good little roam from Ryu to be inside of Pobelter there and kind of squash the aggression.
Yeah, Ryu just has a large mana advantage.
Oh, hello.
Pobelter, this is kind of how Rises play, is they'll have Corrupting Potion, and then they'll just go ahead and play for the first few waves. Back, TP in with Tier when you have that 700 gold. He's actually pretty well past that point, so it's the pressure on him. I don't know if there was an opportunity for him to back, but he's sitting on 1,700 gold right now.
Yeah, and maybe just looking more now for a tier catalyst and those sorts of buys for an even stronger one.
Ole, there's nobody there. He threw a lantern back to be like, Aphromu, you got it back. He's actually, because when somebody's trying to hold the wave, which Aphromu does all the time, is he just tries to hold the wave for his AD carry and stagger their backs. That's Ole, though, just kind of bluffing, saying, oh, he's still here, and made Aphromu back up.
It's so much fun because you have to consider it all the time. You can't say, I know you're doing it now. You throw it over a wall. It could be even worse.
Yep, but you do it right now, and you just put that in his head, because if he's like, oh, this is his 3rd time in a row bluffing, and then there is somebody there, that's when you get him.
The mind game's beginning already. No secured kills just yet. And really that 1-to-1 on the score line is making everybody think, don't want to be the first blood. But you do want to be the great play that happens to start your team off in the right direction. Good push in by Someday. Looks like he might get some breathing time here to back. Or maybe just set down a forward ward. They're 67 to 60. Oh, he's already bought his Spirit Massage. He'll be there to hang out for a while.
Yeah, and now that he has that first buy, that really is, you know, the kind of end of fun for Orin, where Orin can kind of bully Mundo in those early levels. But once Mundo, you know, has that Spirit Visage, again, we talked about it, you're not going to really be very easy to kill. When you have the Sejuani, the Rise, and this Orin, there's no serious threat of physical damage. There's no
Chain of Corruption in the cleanse.
Whoa, the hook!
Nice hit. Ole takes the double ride into a double flay, and now it's going to be Xmithy in for the play. Quick Arctic Assault onto Aphromu, and they may be able to finish this one off, but Permafrost is 1 hit away.
All right there, the cleanse came out from Rikara. Doesn't use his flash at all to dodge the hook, and Ole reads him. You asked me if it was like a bike? Yep, absolutely. Back on the Thresh. Wait.
Predator flash ult.
He definitely has it. Predator in, locked down, Petrifying Gaze there as well from Ryu. They get it down as he turns into the fight, and they take down Pobelter. He's just used teleport to get back to lane, so that's a long walk as we have a rotation from Xmithy and Ole.
Great response there from Onda. You can see him just sitting in that side brush, getting ready, pops the Predator flash. They have the miasma behind Pobelter, and this is our Acer Predator replay here down on the bottom side. It's a nice ultimate from Varus, but Ole reads it like a book. Rikara thought he had the sidestep, but Aphromu does not block, he does not flash, and then, well, no way out of that one, bud.
Those are so hard to hit on pro players as well, because usually they will react to it. Right there, that was just straight up prediction. And it comes out so quickly that Pobelter doesn't even have a chance to like go for a Realm Warp to try and get out, or even maybe potentially flash. Was a little scared there for a second, but he did the butt turn right there. Turned around to Skarner at the last second, which flips the person to the other side of you.
Yeah, I think his only chance would have been maybe an immediate flash in the Raptor Pit. Maybe that gets you away, but it's definitely hard to react like that. And either way, TL at least going to be able to fight back, take an objective here, grabbing that blue buff there for Pobelter, and he does have the tier. He goes for the Merc Treads now as well to deal with some of the CC, the stun that can be coming out there from that Skarner.
Realm Warp to force Onda a certain way. As Pobelter still playing aggressive. They know the team needs to push in and get a little bit more. Maybe a rinse and repeat to that mid lane, but now that Pobelter has flash up, himself safe from Onda.
Oh, repeat on the bottom side.
Cleanse after cleanse carry by these two.
That's such good value on that.
Yeah, he gets the flash from Rikara and the cleanse from Aphromu, and that is really, really a nice ultimate there from Doublelift. 2 in a row that have gotten so much value, as you said. You can bring Smithy down now, and there's no cleanse, no flash from Rikara, and Smithy has flash and ultimate.
Yeah, that's one where there's going to be follow-up, and I feel like you don't even need to wait for Doublelift to have another ultimate. You just go for it. Ole will do the hook duty.
And even with the flashes down, that's a minute and 50 seconds for Chain of Corruption. Obviously much faster than a flash is going to come up, so you can just keep spitting those chains out every time it comes up for Doublelift.
Yeah, and I feel like they didn't get enough of an advantage off of this counter pick or this special pick in the bottom side for Rikara. Like, down 12 CS, Blade of the Ruin King completed for Doublelift. There's so much pressure on them. Summoner spell advantage. This feels like, sure, you pick this lane to try and counter and go even. They're behind.
They definitely are, but at the same time, the pressure from Ryu is working out, so their solo lane picks have been good. Mundo, as he gets more and more items, this matchup just gets better for him into the Orin. You really can start to ignore that damage, so 100 Thieves still have their path to victory open to them. But as it often is for TL, it's going to be about double lift and his ability to really carry in these team fights.
That's why it's so scary. Like any other AD, you're like, okay, that's fine, 12 CS advantage. Like, he's probably just going to keep growing over time, and they have to care about that very intensely.
Little back and forth between Pobelter and Ryu. Cassiopeia and Rise impact. An Abyssal Mass starting off. Getting into the fight will make Pobelter a little stronger as well there. So synergizing already, but they can't put it together just yet with the lanes still up. And that's what TL is working on the bot side. Half health for 100 Thieves bot turret.
Yeah, I really like that move. Just a bit of pressure there from Smithy. You have Smithy and Olay walking in behind as Double Lift is pushing in that wave, and they're just able to actually push them off to get so much turret damage down and really didn't have to commit anything.
Yep, ultimate backup for Double Lift here. Here comes the roam to mid lane. They're just clearing out the vision. The Drake's about to respawn.
Oh, don't have the vision. Few permafrost hit, locked in. The box goes down. It's going to be a very locked up and knocked down Anda. He gets himself caught just searching around for vision.
And that's going to be that Drake. That's the second Ocean Drake of the game. The first one for TL, though, so they'll even those up. They got that bottom turret damage. They just picked off Anda, and now they know that they're in a really good spot against the early game.
Olay quickly upgrading his coin, gets those mobility boots and makes sure he can trail like Smithy around the jungle as these two start making plays. Double Lift loves to get that free farm, so if it can start even earlier, why not?
Yeah, and both the kills going his way is going to feel so good.
Yeah.
You can really gift that over to the Varus. It's not even about fresh picking it up with a stray ignite or anything along those lines. So they're keeping this pressure going. They're looking to extend the advantage, as you said, Zareen. It's not just about getting a little bit ahead. Double Lift wants to take that to extend that lead. And this is just a great CC chain. Hook into the box, into the passive stun. They have the ultimate from Varus. Everything is kind of layered there. There's just no chance for Anda to get out.
Yeah, placed a ward down. Anda walks up to go hit the ward. Like, you're not going to kill it in that time.
Guess he just didn't expect the bottom lane to be there, thinking it's just jungle and you can fight for the
You have Ryu right there.
And that's, perhaps poor communication from the bottom lane, or perhaps him just kind of losing a little bit of mental focus and not realizing where the other team is.
Yeah, because he's had to play around the top side for the past 2 games, but Olay being a monster on this Thresh.
Oh, Flay's back, but Someday turns down. Usually you can hit that hook after the Flay, but fancy footwork by Someday and the ult on allows him to kind of break out of the fight. Olay will still chase, though, knowing this is time to put wards down and increase vision.
And when you bring that Varus up there, now there is kill threat onto the Mundo, because yes, he has the Spirit Visage, but Blade of the Rune King, a lot of attack speed already purchased up here for Double Lift. He can threaten Someday if he steps forward too boldly, and they're going to have Impact try to clear on bot side.
And he has no ulti. So Smithy's ultimate is up in a few seconds here, about 5 or so. There it is, it's up now. If you can land combo CC, Someday will die because he can't regen at all.
Mid lane was missing there for a moment, and they also see Anda coming up. This is going to be a little push for Ryu here. We'll see if he takes his time to head up or back to get some items.
And Ricard is coming top lane right now. He's 2 levels down on this Misfortune. He's 25 CS down. His turret's about to go over. Oh, Someday dodging forward there on the hook. If they're able to keep this turret, it just needs a few more shots. The minions?
Ryu does stop coming up. They're not going to need it. The minions come through. Winion topside turret takedown.
And I believe Double Lift actually stayed in local gold range, which is actually a really big deal for that first turret.
I don't think so.
So we'll have to see.
No, he only got 50.
Just barely missed out, actually.
He missed
tried
out
to
on
walk back in, but just barely out of range.
Control of the map still theirs at this point. A ward does come over. Alphamu can tell him what's going on. Only a small pinch from Ryu on the bottom side. This should be Rift Herald for TL. But Ryu just missed on the Glacial Prison, but it does zone him out of doing anything to that Rift Herald takedown. TL looking pretty good here to start things off.
Yeah, but the fact that they didn't get that solo turret gold, or even turret gold in general, the local gold, that's pretty bad for Team Liquid, because they lose out on 550 gold that 100 Thieves actually made about 250 of that onto Impact in the side lane, or sorry, Someday in the side lane. So, or sorry, They swapped sides. My head hurts. Sorry. Impact got 250. Never mind.
It's okay. So
The
either way,
turret's up, yeah.
either way, we do have TL knocking down the 2 turrets, feeling pretty good about their lead. You know, and we do have Double in a position where he is looking very strong, but Ryu is also at a pretty nice advantage, and you know, it's going to be 100 Thieves trying to play around this Casio, who is also kind of similar to the Marksman, is a very, very high consistent DPS threat.
Yeah.
And I think that works well in combination with his Burst Marksman like the MF, because MF can soften them up and isn't as good about taking down the tanks. That's where the Casio can come in.
Yeah, and if you can throw down a Cassiopeia Miasma, and then you throw the MF ultimate on top of it, they can't flash out of it, they're slowed, and then there's all this damage people are trying to run away from. But for Team Liquid, I feel like that Ornn, and you also have to watch the Braum shield in these fights too, and where if Aphromoo can actually block them coming in, because I feel like it's actually more effective to block it on the way out. I mean, people block it on the way in, but then their shield is backwards. Just let it slow people. Then when it comes in, block it on the second one so people don't get knocked up, but you're also having your shield face the right direction for the rest of the fight.
I'm just excited to see what happens in these fights. 100 Thieves have such a great counter. I mean, if Anda pulls somebody in and TL says, we want to help him, you get a petrifying gaze in the face, you get Ricard's ult in the face. There's a lot to deal with, so tricky fights here for both sides to get in. Ole's been hitting some hooks, getting these skirmishes in favor of TL along with Xmithy, so we're still waiting for that brawl. 5v5. 1 minute onto Mountain Drake as we've traded the Drakes to start off. 2 are an Ocean and an Ocean for each team.
So something that, you know, despite the snafu that I was talking about with the turrets going 1-to-1, it's 2 for Team Liquid. They won both sides of the map. They got the Rift Herald. They're going to knock this third one down.
One hook. What's the turnaround? Petrifying Gaze actually dodged out by Xmithy. Nice footwork as the fight continues, and 100 Thieves is going to try to stop Shelly in mid lane.
Yep, just going to get a big charge off, though. That's going to be all 3 outer turrets down because of the pressure that TL has had in all of their lanes, swapping the map around.
Yeah, and really.
Oh, wow!
You've got to give a lot of credit, mostly just to the bottom lane, though, because their solo lanes were losing, but the bottom lane takes their pressure, goes top, gets pressure there. That frees up Impact on the bottom lane to get that on that side of the map. And while their bottom lane is top, Xmithy grabs that Rift Herald, right? So it's double lift and Olay, moving around the map, affecting all 3 lanes, knocking down those outer turrets, and definitely a big deal there for TL, but 100 Thieves aren't so far behind. They really do still have very strong solo laners. They're going to have their chances.
And you really, really want this Mountain Drake as 100 Thieves. It increases your Baron pressure with a Cassiopeia later in the game. They want this, but right now, Pobelter is topside. He's probably going to get this tier 2, or he's going to TP in.
Eyes on Afro's all to stop the fight. Watching Xmithy for the Glacial Prison. It is out. The teams are up, and Afromoo's right in the middle of the fight with Anda. They're low. Afromoo now gets himself to safety, and we're looking for double lift. He goes down. Sorry, Ricard goes down as Reeve is now getting himself caught up in the fight. Team Liquid stepping up big on that one as it is just a dog pile around Mountain Drake.
4 for 0 there for TL. They take full control. And
nice.
They are going to be able to march down mid lane here, look for a tier 2 tower as well. TL really putting a stamp on that one.
Yeah, 100 Thieves behind say, we have to do this. They started up. TL, 100% ready for it. They don't go for that top tier 2. They go for the TP, and it made a big difference because they are rewarded with the Dragon. They are also rewarded with the tier 2 mid.
Here it is again.
Yeah, I love the ultimate setup from Impact later in the fight. That is what I call the Orange Strike.
And the TP here from Rise. Look at Ricard. He's trying to channel the ultimate, but a Rise appears right behind him. So Sunday and Ryu have to peel back. Pobelter just gets that phase rush, runs out, drawing multiple members in, and this whole time, the rest of TL is doing damage. Double just free firing. They're non-stop putting out that pressure. So I think a very well-executed fight here from TL. And look at the damage even coming out from this Ornn, hitting so many members with the AoE on the Bellows Breath, with the Ornn Horn, and really having a big impact.
And now I'm looking at, we were talking about how it's Dr. Mundo. He loves to build just MR. He's going up against this Varus, though, that is winning that lane, so he has played the Root King, does a lot of physical damage. On the flip side of it, Team Liquid are going up against a Mundo, a Cassiopeia, and then this MF that is very behind. That Abyssal Mask Warmog's combo for Impact made it so that Cassiopeia was doing barely anything to him. Yeah. And then you even have Xmithy, who threw Adaptive Helm, first completed item after Cinderhole.
Yeah, I mean, the MF is not going to be the one to kill off these tanks, right? It's more about the burst. It's about backline access with that ultimate onto Doublelift and onto Pobelter. And in that last fight, wasn't able to get a good ultimate on either of those carries.
Impact 2-0-2 from having a decently behind lane. 2-3-0-2 for Doublelift as he is still in that being fed. The resources position behind Ole here with a strong front line and Impact. They're able to take down Onda right away. Glacial Prison misses, but that doesn't seem to deter them too much. They hesitate, but they call through the Forge God, and the fight continues. Flash forward for the Permafrost, and they are going to lock down Rio and Aframu. Stopwatch for Aframu to buy him a bit more time, but Rakara has to turn tail and head home.
This is a Team Liquid looking game, baby. This is what we were talking about. The other games, slow in the mid game, kind of calculated. This one, full on brawling, fighting as much as possible, and that's where Team Liquid are excelling.
And not only are they on the Baron, they're trying to get the inhibitor turn at the same time at 22 minutes. This is how confident they are with their position in this game. Anda is back up. No way he's going to make it there in time. Nothing for them to do, really, but watch this Baron fall.
Experts at chewing gum and walking at the same time.
That's called the optimization.
9-1 and a Baron. Now for Team Liquid, just 22 and a half minutes in to Game 3, the semifinal.
And this gold lead is just ridiculous this early on. Anda wants to go on to Impact. Beautiful hook from Ole, but even if you've got the ultimate on him, there's not enough damage there. It was a good try from Rakara, but the team comes in. Impact has his ultimate and says, hey, we can look for this.
Yeah, and that's such a good setup there. As soon as the Braum shield was down, he calls it in. There's nothing they can do about it. The flashes are down on Ryu, and really, they're just running house over them with Impact being able to reach with the ulti after.
And credit to Ryu, I mean, he had a three-man ultimate stun. He was pumping out the damage, but there's not enough left in the tank. Mundo is not there. Rakara has no ultimate. You've already lost your other frontliner. They're not going to be able to win from that position. And now, for TL, they just have to close it out. You are so far ahead, so far early. Next step, knock out the rest of the outer turrets, get that gold lead even bigger, and really start to look for that final fight they'll need.
And with tanks this fed on the side of Team Liquid, it becomes almost hopeless. You get that sense of dread when you're playing against it as a carry, either the Cassiopeia for Ryu or Rakara. When you start hitting these tanks for 4 or 5 seconds and you've only done 10%.
It's a brick wall.
Exactly. Like, Impact can just soak forever.
Little back and forth here. Impact call the Forge God right onto Aframu as he can't really disengage the fight. Ryu's going to be spitting in poison from the side. His eyes onto Ole. He's almost going down. MF ult is done, and Pobelter's going to enter in. Someday lockdown. No, he doesn't get the root prison on, and they will finally get that hit. Impact's a little too far for the team to help. Kind of walking him around, and we said he could soak for a while, but 100 Thieves find a way in on this fight.
Yeah, Ryu actually played that so well, threatening constantly on the side to buy time for a car with that big MF ult, but TL still confident to stay.
We said they were good at multitasking, but how many things did 100 Thieves put on the plate before Team Liquid make a mistake? Ole with an error could put himself in the frying pan. The Realm Warp to save the rest of Team Liquid as 3 members make it to safety.
What a good Realm Warp there from Pobelter. Now you see me, now you don't. They're going to be able to knock down that inhibitor turret. They get the inhibitor, and they do get out. They give up 2 kills, but well worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. That fight started off as a 4v5. That's why Impact, he didn't end up getting much done, but he soaked so much because Pobelter wasn't there. Pobelter was top side of the map, pushing it. He had nothing to do with that fight until the very end of it, and that's why it looked so even, because despite this gold lead, it's not enough to make up for a single person with all these abilities that you could be adding to the fight.
And even with that, they honestly had to play the fight very well. Here is the later end of that fight. That was a double lift. He betrayed him. No. He's like, Ole, got something to tell you. You're going to have to take this one for the team.
He's just testing him. He's seeing how he takes it. Putting up with his shit, his double lift.
Yeah, Pobelter spending a bit too much time on that top side, and they've had enough of his pushing as well. He goes down 45 seconds on these death timers, so they are nothing to laugh at this point.
Yeah, they definitely are. Double said, he warned us, the team has to sacrifice for him, whatever it takes. Testing their resolve.
Are the weakest link.
It's like, I don't have to be faster than, I don't have to be faster than them. I just have to be faster than Ole. Running from a bear, 101.
All right, well, 100 Thieves trying to make some moves. It is a good pick onto Pobelter in the side lane to try to delay things a little bit. You know, that is one of the ways that they can slow down this game and find time for their carries to get those items, because you have to feel like Ryu needs, at the very least, a Void Staff to get through that front line in a reasonable amount of time. So they want to get picks in the side lane, give time for Cassio to farm, give time for Ricard to hopefully catch up.
Yeah, and Ricard, he's going to need his Edge of Night and Black Cleaver. I'm so surprised he has not gone for Black Cleaver here, and he went for another lethality item. It feels like 100 Thieves are just banking on kill, double lift, and then that'll be the fight. But I feel like there's so much more coming out of everybody on this team from TL.
Yeah, there definitely is. And I think that strategy can make sense, though. You know, he's supposed to be the backline threat, zoning them out while Cassio kills that front line. And then I can respect that 1-2 punch, but they're down in gold and they don't have all the items they need yet.
And this is the least we've seen from Onda. The Skarner pick is not allowing him in. He's not allowed to be as aggressive, and he's not even getting any flash pulls.
Yeah, his first gank was great, but after the Skarner was locked in, I was sitting there going, what would Flowers think about this? It's like, he'd be like, I hate playing into the Sichuan. I hate playing into the Thresh.
Rise even, yeah.
I hate all these champions because you can't just run at them, which is what Skarner's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, who do you even try to flash grab? There's QSS on Rise and Varus. Who are you going to pull, right? Like, you can use it for CC and trying to lock someone down in the fight a little bit. Maybe it's Olay trying to shut him down from peeling, but, you know, there's not really that super juicy target that just wins you a fight.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, just pull the frontliner, right? Well, Thresh is going to be able to pull him right back out afterwards because you won't kill him and burn through him in just those few seconds you have.
So then what's the next step? You want to put wards out and find that pick. But putting wards in your base doesn't do too much for you. Team Liquid's already pushed you all the way back to the fountain, and now they're looking to get the last inhibitors. Top and bottom stand here with the turrets in front.
100 Thieves really going to have to hold on, still waiting for those items. They do have the Void Staff on Cassio, which is a very big deal, but they want to delay. They want this game to go along and trying to keep their hopes at putting this game in their pockets, at getting one game away from that finals of the World Championship.
Yeah, winner is on match point for the finals and Worlds. That's the big one that they're all looking, because everybody talks about Worlds is where they want to go. Worlds is what they play for at the end of the day. But the championship can't be something that you just overlook. I love that both these teams were there in spring, and we're getting kind of an even more heated back and forth than we were in those finals. They really want this.
Especially in the top side right now.
Yeah.
But it is. It's interesting to see what like last ounce of effort you can get out of Andi. You can get out of Ricard in these situations against a team who have seen a lot of those world situations. 100 Thieves asking everything of themselves, as they should, as they're down here in game 3.
Okay, so we look at the Ricard build. He just got the lethality, and now he's going for Black Cleaver. He says, I don't need Edge of Night completely. Just give me the lethality portion to just have it all together, have all lethality items he'll get, and go for that extra armor threat. If he can get to that point, and then they team fight, he'll be much more effective.
Yeah, the additional 20% CDR would put him at 40, which is always going to feel so good. But TL could be looking here, and you can see they're playing so heavily for vision around the Baron. If you actually toggle 200 Thieves side of the vision, we can see that there's just nothing in that area. It's so dark.
Don't do that, it's spooky! Turn the lights back on, and 100 Thieves didn't see this one coming. It's Onda going down next. Someday it's huge with the Stairs Gauge Rage on. And he is going to go down eventually. Actually, his Gargoyle Stone Plate coming up there, and they are just being taken down left and right. Team Liquid able to adapt and flow onto the priority champions in this fight. I don't think they really have the time for Someday.
He wants the wave.
They can just go and end the game.
He wants the minions, no!
Ground warping a few in there. They do get one of the candy minions in to reduce the turret. Team Liquid's going to be onto the Nexus once again. 30 minutes in, 13-5, and they are going to put 100 Thieves up against the wall. It's game point for Team Liquid heading to Oakland.
TL, one game away from going to the finals again, defending their championship title, and going to Worlds.
And it's the most dominant game yet by far from them in this series. They looked very strong in this game number 3, and now